we will go to the cart team. I did plan like a cool cart adventure. That's okay. So the wind whooshes past your face as you gain speed and the tracks click beneath you. The cart clears the tunnels and comes to a large room where the tracks are suspended above everything else by a wooden bridge. You will overlook the edge of the cart and see a steep fall into a rocky bottom. And you have a moment of silence as Eravan looks behind him and then looks at Oreadr. Oreadr is just like, you see him exhale this big sigh, and Eravan's like, "Are we leaving them? Like, shouldn't we? Are you okay with this?" He's like, he kind of like sits in the cart, at a loss. And
would Keyanthi have overheard them saying where they were going to get taken to at all?
No.
Okay, he was nowhere there.
Yeah.
Well, Keyanthi firmly believed they would all just follow and try to escape, so she's just gonna walk through right now.
Okay.
She'll probably like pray to Breotreacht and just be like, let me know if something happens, or whatever kind of prayer she can do.
Okay. And
she knows that she and Oreadr need to get away.
Yeah.
But she's also
you then will have you okay. Yeah, you pray to Breotreacht and offer your prayer. You basically just have the comfort of her being there. Like, she's like, well, whatever you pick, I'm with you. And we'll go to the other team, as we'll stop combat at this point, as Silverfang just he looks at Odo, and he knows when it's not worth it at his point. He's just like, I don't have a quarrel with you. He gestures towards Kiara and Lucius. I'm gonna have the just stop the music for right now. Stop. He stops and looks at Lucius and Kiara, and he says, your bounties aren't worth it right now. And then he just walks away, goes and joins his team outside. And you see Odo with Simone, and he kind of looks around at Lucius and Kiara and then Luna and says, well, shall we go?
No, we need to look at them. I point down to the tunnels.
And he said, oh, I believe I recall you saying you'd do anything, no questions asked.
No, actually, that isn't what I said. Like, okay, this isn't questions, this is orders.
And so he's just like, right, so you want me to go into the mines after your friends?
Well, do you know where the mines let out?
And he looks up and thinks, he's like, there's a connection in Hillock.
How far is Hillock?
It's not that far. It's like literally the next town. You like saw it in the distance.
We can go intercept them over there.
He like kind of like flicks his hair and looks down the shaft, and he's like, well, if they're gonna come out, hopefully it is there. And he motions for Simone to follow. He's like, I believe you've met Simone.
Mhm.
She kind of like waves. And he looks over at Kiara and says, and you must be Kiara. That must be Lucius.
I roll an insight check to see Luna's room of mind to see if it's voluntary or if it's magic based.
Mm-hmm.
Nat 20 plus 3 if it matters.
You can. Do you want to?
Oh yeah. Okay. It's like it is like voluntary, but kind of like a
Begrudging.
begrudging, kind of like lesser of two evils sort of thing. So it's mainly just like she made a calculated choice based on her ultimate goals and also trying to protect her friends, and this is what was the best idea for her. And so she's trying to grin and bear it.
Her eyes sort of have this little backlighting of yellow, kind of like how when you look into the dark an animal's eyes will glow against lighting. And so it's a little flicker, and you just hear the hiss of a blade in the dark, and she just like, release her. Oh no, where you think you're going, Boyle? I'll take her back.
It's like, oh.
She's battle worn. She has been stabbed. She has been cut. She has been burned. She's been dead. Probably. We're not sure what happened in that dark tunnel, but she's a little worse, a lot worse for wear. She's obviously just
A bit.
drenched, hunger, and stabbed.
Yeah. It's just, and he's just, he looks at you and he's just like, oh, well, Luna is the one who called me here. And he just kind of he just like turns on his heels and starts walking. Well, do you want to spend your time in the cave? Let's go.
Luna like begrudgingly follows him, and she's like, "Wait, can't you send a message to them some way?" Like referencing the sending spell.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh boy. Okay. Okay, guidance.
Yeah.
Okay. Do I have advantage or no?
You have a flat roll because you're exhausted.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I mean.
Yeah, you have a flat roll.
That is 18.
You see him like just sort of abruptly stop, and there's just this like squeeze of leather as like the hand on his hilt tightens and he releases it, and then he's just like, fine. Whom am I sending this message to?
Keyanthi. She was the blonde one.
And what do you want me to say?
Ask them to meet us in Hillock. Or to come back up the shaft, their choice.
And so Keyanthi, as you're whizzing through the darkness, you hear this voice, and you just hear the voice say, blonde. Luna is in my custody. She wants you to meet us at Hillock. You can come back up the shaft, but the mine also lets out in Hillock. And that's all you get. You can reply to it.
Respond.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can respond in 25 words.
Okay. First of all, she's quietly offended. She's just called blonde.
He's kind of the worst.
I mean, he is.
He's kind of the worst.
Whatever. Okay. Alright, anyway, so she will reply. She's gonna be like really excited, like, oh, I don't think she would trust the voice if she recognized it. But she doesn't. Like, oh. I feel like the cart's already like moving down the way. Let's just continue down the cart. That's what I think.
Okay, yeah, it would. I mean, to be honest, like the cart has like gone. It's already moving. Gravity's taking it, and it would be hard because you'd have to like get out of the cart and then walk along the tracks that's like
Yeah.
basically a thin bridge.
Glad to hear you're safe. We will be headed to the lock. That's it.
Okay. You need to reset your camera. Sorry. Yeah, you're frozen on my end.
No, she's fine for us.
Not on
Yeah,
my
she's
end.
fine for us.
Oh, there we go. She came
Wasn't on my end.
on my end. She was frozen for a second.
Yeah,
Some lag.
just lagging.
Yeah.
Alright.
Boop, boop, boop.
Anyway. Yeah, like I said, Keyanthi is really glad to hear you're safe. We'll meet you at Hillock. Meet you there. Okay. And she says it out loud so that way her two buddies will hear her.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so you go outside, those with, Odo.
Yeah. Luna runs up to him to hug him.
Oh, okay. Make a deception check.
Wait, what is
Advantage or no? Or flat.
What is going on?
She's trying to be manipulative.
I'm so confused.
I don't know exactly what
Do I get a flat roll or no?
You get a flat roll, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's hugging Odo.
Yeah, Luna's hugging Odo.
Oh, it's a deception.
I mean, she's
Yeah.
still only wearing the cloak, but you know.
Yeah. I mean, she's naked, so yeah, you're gonna get advantage.
Okay.
Something, alright.
13 plus 18.
Okay. Does she hug him from like behind or like the side or like how does she?
She'll try to go for front unless he's just determined to be walking away. Then she'll do it in the back.
He was being sassy, so like he probably was like just like doing his strut out the door. But he'll like stop and Luna, like you know him well enough to know that by his like physical reaction, he's genuinely surprised. And he turns around and looks over at you, and he says, "Well, that was a nice surprise." Kind of like
She was actually like genuinely crying a little bit because it's been like a whirlwind of big things going on, and going verbal makes her more emotional, I think.
yeah, and he'll reach over and just like actually wipe your tears away.
Mhm.
He's like, and he'll say to you, "I'm here. You'll be okay." And he puts his arm around you, and you walk out. If you like allow him to like put his arm
I'll
around.
let him.
Yeah. And so yeah, you come out, and then the men of the Triple Crowns are kind of just gathering up, binding each other. Some healing's going on. The witch comes back looking really annoyed, and then she and Silverfang are talking to each other. Lucius goes over, and he goes back to the magic cart, and he goes and takes he did load this like lead box into the cart. He goes and takes the box and then gets his other stuff, and he turns to Kiara and he's like, "Well, what are we doing now?"
You can probably tell by the twitch of her ears she is seething. Nothing is more upsetting than a blade that cannot be sheathed in the meat of someone that deserves it. And she's just, they're viciously like restrapping her armor and like casting like a quick heal yourself and like putting her things back, and she's just like, to find a task, got to keep them together. Lose him. Pauses for a moment. To them, she kind of like has a little flicker in her eye, and she's like, "You feel it's a better idea. That's not a better idea."
You cut out a little bit. So Kiara is upset, and she said we lost him, and so then I got, unless you think it's a better idea. So what's she asking him?
She pretty much breaks down, and so can't very well leave her behind. Can't can't, others wandering around when they're hunted, as well follow, because they're in our sights. And then she pauses and sort of like turns her head a little bit too quickly to him. You have a better idea. A terse tone, but she's actually genuinely asking if he has a better idea.
You see him, like, survey the area. He looks around, like, in front of you, and he just thinks, well, it's not a great idea to go into the mines that's unmapped to try to look for your friends. I mean, if we found someone who knew the mines, it might be a better idea. Then we could have at least someone who knows the mines, and we could perhaps track him that way. I think he's like, look at his insight. That's okay.
He's weighing his options. Kiara flicks a quick glance over to Ellie too. Karen's talking about the children right now.
Yeah, Ellie looks completely different. Like, as we've been walking, you'll probably subtly see like the leaves slowly coming off and turning into just golden brown, just dried grass as she is in her summer form, and she is also seething and like, just like absolutely like mad and just like arms like crossed and like is absolutely staring dagger straight at like Odo. And like seething even more now that he has his arm around Luna.
Lucius.
Kiara looks over at Ellie. She looks back at
Might want to get your things.
she's just like, oh, so we can't leave the both of them in his care. It leaves him too much leverage. He's annoyed at the fact that there's leverage.
Yeah.
This is a sticky situation we're in. Super sticky.
Yeah. And he kind of weighs the area. Well, I think we need to just gather things, keep an eye on Luna. The best thing is to not leave her alone right now. The others are capable. Sure, they'll be alright. Oreadr's in kind of a doofus, but he pulls through.
I'm thinking, glaring at the people that were hunting them.
You see them like glare back. The orc that you battled with for like a really long time, he actually is just like, he comes over and he's like, hey man, turns out the big guy doesn't want us to fight you, so he's just like, good battle,
Good game.
good game. And then like he reads your face and he's like, we'll talk later.
Does he like wink at her?
He knows that angry, like, if he can read any emotion, it's anger. And he's just like, hey, we'll talk later, maybe.
Did he put a hand out for her or whatever?
Yeah, he did. He's like, good fight. Kind of like reading the room, like a little late to read the room.
Reflexes, so she's still a little bit miffed, but when he puts his arm out, she just actually does size him up and sort of she does that thing where, like, you know, when you're reaching out for your hand for a handshake, then the other person will like grab your forearm and like that kind of handshake.
Oh yeah, Beastmaster handshake.
She just sort of pulls him close, like, oh, yeah, like. Sorry, Tim.
He's just like, respect, you know.
Yeah. GG.
GG. And then he goes back over to actually like Kevin and I think Edward, I think and starts to, they're just packing up their stuff and vanishing each other, and because you can gather, everyone here is too beat up to want to fight right now, so it's just
Actually fine.
it's a stalemate. And Odo kind of waves his contingency over. It's about 6 men on horses, and he has this I believe it's a half orc I made him that is at the lead, so he's one of the 6 men, and there's 6 men plus the additional, so he has collectively a group of 8 people with him, because he has Simone, he has his half orc. I named him at some point. I think I named
Gareth?
What?
Somebody else. Remember the name Gareth being thrown around?
Yeah, we'll say it's Garth or Gareth right now. And Odo mounts up I think what he would do. He turns to Luna and he says, "Do you want to get your things?"
Oh yeah. Just too bad.
Yeah, he's just you see him kind of size you up, and he's just very well. But his eyes say that he's a little disappointed that you're not going to be naked anymore.
Okay.
And Keyanthi prays to Breotreacht and blow up his head.
We're gonna go back to Kayanthi's group.
Good.
Can I do one parting thing?
Huh?
As soon as Lucius and Kiara on the same page is going along, she does sort of take the moment to sort of pass by Ellie and sort of touch her shoulder. Bide her time. She says in a low growl,
Lucius leans in and says, "The hunter knows when best to strike."
Yeah, I just don't want him to do anything bad to her. And just she there's just a whirlwind of emotions. She is mad. You could as she speaks, there is a slight wilt as she is physically uncomfortable with how close Odo is with Luna, and even more uncomfortable that that Luna is it's just talking with them.
Gross.
And that we're in this this weird trust.
It's okay. Luna doesn't want to be there either. She's just
Mm-hmm. Okay, then okay. I had cool visions for you guys, but I'm not gonna have those now. So as you are going down this cart lane, you up ahead it's just pitch blackness, and then suddenly,
Aren't we mostly with elves you can see?
yeah, but you still can't see very well because there's absolutely no light source. I was like,
you're not really around.
What's the point in dark vision then? If we
you can see better.
low light.
Yeah,
And it's for 60 feet, unless you're in darkness.
yeah. There is
Subtle shapes.
yeah, so you can see generally things, but it's kind of fuzzy. Anyway, the cart goes into a free fall as the railings, there is no longer railing beneath it. And so everyone in the cart needs to make a dex save to see how much damage they take from this cart free falling into the abyss.
To collect apology from Kiara, please be alive to do so.
oh, no.
Stuff.
Oh, cool.
Alright, so we don't have that plus 4. I got a dex save of 17. What the?
Okay. Eravan did great. Eravan did great. He got a natural 20. Oreadr did not do as great, but he has a really high. He's Dexy. Yeah, he has a 16.
He's a Dexy bard,
Yeah. Okay, so you all fall and take. You take 4 points of bludgeoning damage. You plummet into the darkness, and here it's very tight and like claustrophobic. We'll put on some type.
Is there any light now?
It's you feel like beneath your hands this like icky, viscous stuff, and there's this like really, really bad smell down here.
This sounds like a nightmare for Keyanthi.
Yeah, it is a nightmare for Keyanthi. You kind of make a perception check.
Alright, let's perceive nonsense. Let's perceive. Not one! Who cares? That's a These guys don't like me.
Okay, so you look around and you see this big room with it's like this it's like the center of the mining facility. Hang on, I wrote a description. Okay, yeah, you hit the ground and then you slide at this angle because there's this gravel, and then you slide like deeper into the mines and land into this icky, viscous stuff. It smells like something's been rotting here forever. You look around and you see just this like basically giant zombie like orbital eye as there's this skull of some unearthly creature, and it looks like it's been dead a long time and then it was killed again. But you
Kristen, B team.
What?
B team. Do you remember?
For those of you who watched our B Team Returns episode, this was the zone of the climactic battle.
Yeah.
This is where they fought the Eldritch horror that's been kind of hanging around down there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You're there. It's the same mines. The same mines.
Okay. For Keyanthi, she doesn't know that because she's not important.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just think this is gross. There's this almost like there's like this sickening psychic quality to this area, and you are throttled by all of your worst experiences. You remember traumatic memories, the war matron hunting you in the Underdark, her mate the chain devil falling down from the ceiling in an ambush, Tarina's blood spilling across the floor, her sharp eyes fading as life fades away. And you remember your other near-death experiences, and you just crumple to the floor as the psychic pressure of this room presses down on you. I need you to make a religion roll.
What is with my dice? It is fucking garbage. My religion roll. Nothing. It's not nothing. So I rolled a 6. I swear, even though this die is like 20-sided, I'm only getting like 12, 0, and 2. I don't know what's going on.
You You take 6 points of psychic damage, and Eravan and Oreadr are similarly just on the ground sobbing. Let's see how they do. They're not doing great either. They both failed.
You're not having a good time now.
They're not having a good time. They both failed, so they both take 4 points
Bad luck party.
4 points of psychic damage. All right, we're just gonna do another roll until they can keep up.
Do I take 4 damage too? Yes, I do.
You took 6.
Oh, just now. Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't add that to my phone. Okay. Woo! Love it. Do I roll again?
Yeah. Roll another religion check.
It rolled like halfway between a 5 and an 18. So I chose the 18.
Yeah. I'll let you do it. It's a cool Breotreacht moment as you hear Goth Mom Breotreacht echo in your mind. Keyanthi, don't you remember? The darkness is my domain. Get up! I didn't pick you because you were weak. Stand! Stand as the Reaper I have chosen!
That was great.
That was
Like,
awesome.
you know how sometimes for me, your audio comes in 2 different places, so you echoed.
Oh, cool.
So when you edit that, I really hope you make yourself echo. 'Cause,
Okay, yeah, that'll be a good effect.
yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah. Good, because honestly, like, I was like, can't maybe we die a couple times, become this way, why is he like...
yeah, emboldened by Breotreact's scolding, essentially, you get up. And we'll see how Oreadr and
Banish it from them, since I'm now cool.
you can. So what happens is Oreadr takes. Eravan falls unconscious.
Oh, good.
Oh no.
As he just like hyperventilates and just collapses onto the ground, and then Oreadr is also not looking great, but he's still like conscious.
Spare the dying!
Injured people with you.
Spare the dying on Eravan!
Yeah. You put your hand down on Eravan, and you, instead of feeling like you're pouring life into Eravan, it feels more like you're actually just scaring death away. And like do you want to describe your spirit of dying? I have like kind of an idea, but
I just kind of like I said, I imagine she's like, it's a touch thing, so she's actually just holding her down. I don't know. You be cooler than me. You tell me what.
okay, so she has teal magic when she's channeling Breotreact's power. So you put your hand on Eravan, and then through just kind of like the instinct that Breotreact gives you, you run your hands over Eravan and like down his arms, and actually like kind of like almost like collect this energy and then just throw it away as death is rebutted. And Eravan breathes easy. Okay, Oreadr. He okay. He's takes another 3 points of damage, and is reduced to a sobbing ball on the ground. Okay, what are you doing?
Smacking him awake. I don't know. What else can I do?
Yeah, you punch him. You can just knock him unconscious down too, you know.
Okay, I mean, that's actually a good idea. Like, maybe we'll just stop. Maybe the visions will stop if I just knock him out first, and then also hear the dying on. Yeah.
Yeah, you can hear him just kind of like talking under his breath, and like the thing that you catch between his breaths is, "Mom, don't make me go. Don't make me go." So, what's your decision? That was just flavor.
I love the flavor. It tastes delicious. I love it. That's right. He has no hair. Whatever. I was gonna be like, brush his hair away.
You can brush the dirt off him.
Yeah, just like very, very, very calmly. Like, have I already punched him? No.
You have not punched him yet. Did you want to punch him?
How about just the flavor? I just do spare the dying again and just kind of save them off like 30 on 0.
Okay. You can do another religion check.
All right, that's good. Be nice to me. All right, it was nice to me. I rolled an 11.
Okay. You see him kind of twitch. We'll see how he does. We'll say that. We'll give him an advantage on that roll. Okay, good. Yeah. He snaps his eyes open and sits up as this cold sweat drips down his face. He looks at you and blinks. Where are we? What is this place?
We're dead.
Are we dead?
Get out of here.
Did we die?
No, we were not dead. We almost did.
Okay.
So Keyanthi is a lot calmer than she would normally be in this situation because you got more channel into real strength.
You're in the dark.
I have to
You're
keep
yelling.
holding on to everything to keep him stable, or once I touch him, is that it?
He's stabilized once you touch him.
So,
You...
she technically still has a torch. Can she light that torch?
Yeah, she can light it up. You like just punch your sunbolt out and we'll say it ignites. You look around. Let's see, Order's gonna... He has... Is Cure Wounds a first level?
Yeah.
Alright. Yeah, he used Cure Wounds on himself earlier, so he's gonna use another Cure Wounds on himself, and then he'll use another one on Eravan. So, gosh, he gave himself 5 points, and he gave Eravan 5 points. So Eravan comes back up. He looks around. Ooh, that's not great. So they're both like not looking good, but they're alive. So yeah, you look around, you can see these ladders. There we go. See ladders going up and out. You can kind of piece together a way to get out. It's just going to take time, and I think Eravan would wild shape into like some kind of animal that has more health points than he does. But we'll go back to the other group. So you come to the outskirts of Hillock, and as you're walking, you hear these bushes rustle. And Ellie, you can see these glowing eyes peer out from the grass, and a flash of red fur as a fox comes out, and it approaches you slowly with the sense of familiarity. And Ellie, you recognize this as Lulian.
Yeah.
Your fox
and,
friend.
My color instantaneously changes back to green as
He's like a little surprised by that. Huh?
as all you guys hear is just making animal sounds.
Yeah, just like yips.
And I just go.
And he comes back and you see him wag his tail a little bit and he's like, Ellie, you are back. Gone for so long. And he kind of rubs his head into your hand.
Yeah, I look around and I pet him, and I basically do like kind of like the same like gesture, like I pet him but with my head.
Oh, okay, so like face rub. Face rub. And then he gives you like a little lick, and he looks at the party and barks, "New friends?"
Some of them, yeah, but I'm kind of in a bad situation.
You smell sad.
I am sad.
And you feel his cold nose on you, as he nuzzles you and says, "I want to help, but I'm a fox. I can bite him." He's like, "I can bite someone, or I can dig a hole. Do you need berries? You like berries."
The hole in some of his fragments.
We do like berries.
And his ears perk up and he's like, "I will get you berries." And he like kind of like jumps down and then comes back with like a branch of salmon berries and hands them to you, and I don't know, passes them to you.
If you could do just one thing for me.
Of course.
Do you see that guy in the armor? Before he sits down, put these berries in his seat.
He looks over and he, you mean Odo, right?
Yeah,
Odo, and he's just like, he's like, "What is armor? Do you mean," he's like, "Do you mean the one that smells like flowers?"
Yeah, that one.
Ah. He's like, "Okay." So then, let's see, we'll say like, I don't think Odo would be sitting, but well, this is fun. So,
Falls to town.
okay. So he sneaks over, and Hi, this is Tiffany, your DM. Thank you for watching Dungeon Damsels. This is not the end of the session, so please stay tuned for the next part. We update on Tuesdays and Saturdays at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you're interested in supporting us more, please push the subscribe button, like, or comment. We also have a Patreon, wink wink nudge nudge, and our show is in podcast form. You can find us on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Podbean, Spotify, and plenty of other podcast platforms. Thanks, we hope to hear from you soon.